Welcome to the recap of one of the hit black and white web series, Kota Factory. Welcome to Kota. This is Vaibhav, our protagonist who has just moved to Kota for its famous coaching facilities. It's middle of the term, so the top institute Maheshwari classes rejects Vaibhav's application. So, they try their luck at another coaching institute, Prodigy Institute. The Prodigy manager, Deepak, sweet talks them into joining the institute, but Vaibhav is allotted the worst batch, A10. He meets Meena at his PG, who is also at the same institute as his. Meena scares Vaibhav by telling him he shouldn't have accepted the A10 batch as it is worst of the worst. Vaibhav goes back to Deepak and asks for a batch change, but is denied. That's when he runs into Jitu Bhaiya, the physics lecturer, who gives Vaibhav a 50-question paper and tells him to complete it by the next day if he wanted to switch his batch. With the help of Meena and Uday, another IIT aspirant, he solves 42 questions by copying the solutions from different books, but is unable to do the remaining 8. The next day, Jitu Bhaiya confronts him that he cheated and he couldn't answer the rest 8 questions because those were the questions set by him, and Vaibhav accepts that he cheated. However, Jitu Bhaiya allots Vaibhav the A5 batch because of his resilience. Vaibhav's mum calls him asking if he had settled well and was he content. He gets irritated to the same question every time and cuts the call and just lay in bed, unable to sleep. Next day, Vaibhav is constipated and unable to relieve himself. Due to lack of sleep, Vaibhav sleeps during Jitu Bhaiya's lecture and gets taunted by him. Later, Vaibhav is seen complaining about the bad food and saltiness in water and his constipation issues to Meena and Uday. Unable to focus on studies, Vaibhav asks Meena to help him. Meena introduces Vaibhav to Uday's girlfriend, Shivangi, who is a medical student. When her advice doesn't prove helpful, Meena takes Vaibhav to temple, but even that doesn't seem to help. Finally, the gang head to meet Piyush, Vaibhav's school friend who came to Kota at the start of the term. Vaibhav asks Piyush to help him adjust to the life of Kota, but in an interesting turn of events, Piyush himself starts crying, telling how he's living a life of lie and isn't even a part of any coaching anymore. Vaibhav's mum keeps checking in on him, asking if he is content and well-adjusted, but this keeps making Vaibhav irritated, and he keeps cutting off the call. Finally, Meena and Vaibhav ask Jitu Bhaiya to help him out. In a motivational monologue, Jitu Bhaiya asks Vaibhav to follow a technique and continue it for 21 days till it becomes a habit. Following the advice, Vaibhav starts getting adjusted to the new life of Kota. The climax of the episode, we see Vaibhav's mum calling him again, but this time Vaibhav is sleeping and doesn't pick up the call, and his mum sighs with relief now, knowing that her son is finally adjusted in Kota. Vaibhav's landlady is arguing with Vaibhav, asking him to give more money and complaining how he doesn't turn off the fan before leaving. Later, during coaching, Vaibhav receives low score in inorganic chemistry, and he decides to blame the struggle of the subject on the teaching method of the instructor. Vaibhav convinces Meena that they need to give a poor faculty feedback and get the faculty changed, and then half-heartedly, Meena joins Vaibhav in this crusade to manipulate everyone into giving poor feedback. Their technique works, and the inorganic teacher is replaced, but unfortunately, this time, the new faculty is very loud and strict. The faculty humiliates the topper of their batch, making Vaibhav regretting the choice to change faculty even more. Later, he, along with Meena, go and ask Deepak to change the faculty again, but he refuses. So they head off to the topper, Meenal, and ask her to request her as well. She does, and thereupon finally changing the faculty for the 3rd time. This time, the faculty seemed a good teacher, lenient and fun. However, when the test results come, Vaibhav finds himself again to have scored less marks, and this time he realizes the problem is with the subject and not the teacher. After a huge venting monologue, Meena takes Vaibhav to Jitu Bhaiya asking for help yet again. Jitu Bhaiya, with a simple example, gives them an easy solution to just skip the subject and focus on other subjects, as inorganic will only weigh 11% of the total exam. At the end of the episode, we see Vaibhav giving some extra rent to his landlady and asking her not to disturb them anymore. It's 5 days off at the coaching institute, and with school practical exams coming up, Jitu Bhaiya gives them little bit of work to do and asks them to take a breather in these 5 days and prepare well for school exams. During practical, Uday tells Vaibhav his plan to book scooties and go discover Kota in the next 5 days. Vaibhav opposes to the plan, but then he sees Vartika, a friend of Shivangi who was to join them, and changes his mind. Later, Meena also insists on joining. After practical, Vartika backs out of the plan as she had to study for the upcoming coaching entrance exam of Maheshwari. Meenal, who wanted to tag along with the group to tour Kota, asks if she could be the replacement. Vaibhav backs out as well again, saying he will help Vartika out with studies, and Meena readily joins Uday for the Kota tour. Uday and gang head to a restro bar where they observe Meena swooning over Meenal. On the other side, Vartika invites Vaibhav to his room and helps her with studies. Later in the park, Shivangi grabs Uday off for some quality time, and Meena and Meenal get to spend some time of their own. Next day, Uday and gang head to a bar where they're kicked out for being underage, and so they end up going to another one where Shivangi gets them entry. On the other side, Vaibhav, to support the lies, fills the Maheshwari entrance form along with Vartika. The third day, Vartika's landlord stops Vaibhav from entering the PG, and so they decide to go to Vaibhav's PG instead. At night, Uday suggests Vaibhav to propose Vartika, and also gives them his scooty to go for their exam together. Next day, the two go for their exam together, while Uday and gang go to Wonders of World Park. And there Meenal tells Meena about her plan to go and study abroad, which bursts the attraction bubble that Meena had for Meenal. The episode ends with Vaibhav trying to propose Vartika, but failing to gather courage, but instead Vartika asking Vaibhav to study the 12th syllabus together. Vaibhav enters with a cake in Uday's room, where he and Meena are watching a movie. On being asked about the occasion, Vaibhav tells them he bought the cake for Vartika to give it to her after she clears the Maheshwari entrance exams, but he came back once he found that he cleared and got the A3 batch in Maheshwari, and Vartika didn't get selected. Meena comforts him by saying it's good that they will be together now, and he should think like A1 batch since now he is in Prodigy's A1. Vaibhav tells how a lot of other students from their coaching also gave the entrance exam. On the other hand, Vartika is sad but pretending to be fine. Shivangi pushes her to confess her feelings to Vaibhav since he feels the same way for her. Vaibhav gets a call from Deepak asking him to come to his office along with other students who sat for Maheshwari's entrance exam. Deepak tries to sweet-talk all the students to stay at Prodigy and not switch to Maheshwari. He asks his peon to arrange a meeting of these students with Jitu Bhaiya and tell him to convince the students to stay at Prodigy. Vaibhav, in canteen, brags to Uday and Meena about how Deepak gave him his personal card and scholarship too for staying a Prodigy. Vaibhav is telling them how none of the students were planning to leave Prodigy when he overhears one of the students talking about how they all going to leave Prodigy and go to Maheshwari for better competition. Jitu Bhaiya uninterestingly holds the meeting of the students who gave the entrance exam and let them go when they all say that they are not interested in going to Maheshwari. Vaibhav stays back and talks about the other classmates about whom he overheard about leaving. Jitu Bhaiya confesses that he knows that they will be leaving and tells him that he knows that Vaibhav won't be going to Maheshwari when he should. Vaibhav asks him why he should switch institute when he is so settled, to which Jitu Bhaiya makes him understand how necessary it would be for him to grow and not settle for things so soon. He explains it to him how in Prodigy there is nothing that isn't in Maheshwari, but there is a lot in Maheshwari classes that isn't in Prodigy. Meena seems upset on Vaibhav's decision to leave Prodigy. Meena asks Uday to convince Vaibhav to not go, but surprisingly Uday takes Vaibhav's side and asks him to do what his parents tell him to and not listen to anyone else, as the end goal isn't to be in top batch or friendships, but to clear IIT. Vaibhav talks to his parents and decides his next step. He goes to Jitu Bhaiya to thank him for everything and gift him an expensive gift, which he refuses, and asks him to go work hard and gift him something that he earns himself. Before leaving, Vaibhav asks Shivangi to give notes to Vartika, since he didn't have courage to tell her goodbye. Vaibhav bids goodbye to Meena and heads off with Uday to shift to the new place when Vartika runs up to say her goodbye. The episode end, we see Vaibhav in his new PG and meeting a person who he sees himself a year ago. Starting with the recap for Season 2, Vaibhav is all set to attend his first day at Maheshwari classes with his new friend. On his way to the coaching, his attention is caught by a billboard of Jitu Bhaiya, who is set to start his own individual coaching. During the orientation, the owner of the institute scares Vaibhav along with all other peers as how they all are too late in this competition and how difficult it is going to be for them to clear IIT. During the lecture, Vaibhav finds it difficult to follow along with the lecturer and see himself lagging behind. In Prodigy, a group of students complain Deepak to bring back Jitu Bahaya as the physics teacher, but Deepak tells them that he no longer is with Prodigy coaching. Meena and Uday try contacting Jitu Bahaya on his personal cell. Meanwhile, Vaibhav's new friend Sushrut, her mother, calls Vaibhav scared that he wasn't picking up his phone and was crying last time she was talking to him. Vaibhav runs scared to Sushrut's room and find him lying in bed crying. Sushrut is feeling emotionally drained and questioning his life choices and whether IIT is worth the pressure or not. Meena, along with Uday, Meenal and Vartika, goes to Jitu Bahaya asking him the reason why he left, and he simply tells them that he wanted to open his own institute for a while. Meanwhile, Vaibhav's mum tells him to be kind to Sushrut and be a friend to him, like Meena was to him when he first came to Kota. Vaibhav and Sushrut go to a senior to get some advice, and they realize that the senior himself was feeling all lost and hopeless. Jitu Bahaya is setting up his new office when an old student of his comes to meet him. Vaibhav runs into Vartika when coming back from his coaching, later realizing the whole gang was there. Vaibhav and everyone head to meet Jitu Bahaya, where they find him lecturing the old student who was hesitant to sit for IIT Advance. Listening to that lecture became Sushrut's motivation to get back to his studies. Jitu Bahaya's session begins, and seeing Meena missing out his class, he asks Uday about his whereabouts. Meanwhile, Vaibhav is starting to feel confident in chemistry, but feeling like he is lacking behind in other subjects. Vaibhav and Vartika bumps into each other again, having an awkward conversation. Vaibhav talks to Jitu Bahaya and requests him to let him join his institute. Thereafter, he bunks Maheshwari's physics classes and runs to take Jitu Bahaya's classes, but the security guards stop them for leaving without a permission slip. Vaibhav asks Uday for help, but seeing Meena's weird behavior, they both turn their attention to Meena's problem. Parallelly, we see Vartika being counseled by Shivangi on her romantic life that isn't going anywhere. Uday and Vaibhav finally diagnose Meena's issue as love sickness. Uday suggests Vaibhav to talk directly to the physics faculty. However, Vaibhav fails to reason with him. Meanwhile, Jitu calls an old friend for investment for his coaching institute. Uday suggests Vaibhav to bribe the guard, but even that doesn't work. Shivangi tries to help Meena get over his attraction and gives Vaibhav a suggestion to talk directly with Maheshwari, but he declines. Jitu Bahaya gives a visit to Meena to help him come over his guilty mindset. Vaibhav gets called over at Maheshwari's office, where he is questioned on why he wants to study physics outside. After hearing his reply, he is given permission to go and attend Jitu Bahaya's lecture. Shivangi helps Vaibhav and Vartika get together and go out for a date. A group of students go to Maheshwari, complaining about the difficulties they're facing in understanding physics. Maheshwari listens to their pleas and let them go. After a lecture from Jitu Bahaya, Vaibhav and Vartika goes out for a date. Jitu Bahaya hires a faculty for chemistry. With the new chemistry faculty, Jitu Bahaya goes to find a new maths teacher. Jitu's old professor suggests him to approach Maheshwari's math teacher. On not finding Vartika at Jitu Bahaya's coaching exam, Vaibhav decides to give her a visit and see her having self-doubt. Vartika and Meenal had both decided to skip the exam. Vaibhav somehow convinces them to head to the coaching, where Jitu Bahaya gives them a meaningful lesson regarding the exam and education. The maths teacher, though willing to join, had some conditions for Jitu Bahaya, which made him a bit hesitant. Jitu Bahaya takes Vaibhav and other students to meet with his senior students batch, who are sitting for the advanced paper, to show them how there are different types of students and how each of them has their own way of coping. Maheshwari calls Jitu Bahaya to his office and offers him a job, which he declines. After leaving his office, Jitu Bahaya decides to finalize the new maths teacher, Gagan Sir. Vaibhav has trouble studying due to improper sleeping pattern. Later he falls sick and puke post-lunch. Jitu Bahaya has some website and banner work which is piling up, so he asks his former students to come and help him out with those. Meena, Uday and Shivangi try helping Vaibhav recover, but his health keeps getting worse. Jitu Bahaya notices the change in health of Vaibhav and asks everyone, including Vaibhav, to get medically tested to avoid getting sick during exam preparation. Vaibhav's report revealed that he is suffering from jaundice. The doctor gives him medicine for a week, but even after a week his health doesn't improve. On noticing no change in Vaibhav's condition, Jitu Bahaya advises him to call his mother and ask her to come and help him. After a bit of emotional blackmail and persuasion, Vaibhav's mom comes to visit him and helps him out with good food and other household chores. when Vaibhav's health starts improving, and yet when he didn't seem focused, Jitendra asks him to tell his mum to go back as he was now getting too comfortable. Vaibhav does so. The episode ends with Jitendra's coaching banner and posters all over Kota. Workers are waiting for call from institutes to start putting up AIR posters of top students all across Kota on the day of results. Vaibhav, along with Sushrut, gave the IIT advanced exam for practice and are checking their scores to see where they stand in the competition. Meanwhile, Meena did the same, and along with Uday, they invite Vaibhav to see the Kota Result Day Festival. Jitendra is checking the rank of his students, especially the ones whom he is scared might do something impulsive if failed, when one of his students give him the good news that he cleared the exam. Meanwhile, Maheshwari, along with his team, is checking the results of their topper students. Initially upset over not having a couple of students at their expected ranks, the mood cheers up when one of the students from their coaching ranks won All India in exam. The workers start replacing the posters on frame with the updated photo of the new ranker and put the banners all across Kota. Meanwhile, Deepak at Prodigy is buying rank under 50 for publicizing his institute. Vaibhav, along with friends, is at the computer lab where students are checking their results and a variety of emotions are clouding the room. Meanwhile, reporters have gathered all around Kota, taking interviews of students who cracked IIT. Maheshwari gifts BMW to Utsav, Air 1 student, and the celebrations are full on. Meanwhile, the chemistry teacher backs off from joining Jitendra's institute. Angry and disappointed, he asks her not to call again. Later, it is revealed that she joined Maheshwari classes. Vaibhav runs into the student who was expected AIR1 but got AR4, crying and disappointed in hallway. While talking to a few seniors, Vaibhav and Meena realize they did give the exam for only half syllabus, but utilized the complete time, which opens their eyes as to how far they are still from their goal. Jitendra holds a small party for all the students who didn't get selected, motivating them to continue working hard on next phase of their life. The episode ends with Varnali, Jitendra's female student, who was doubtful whether to give exam or not, committing suicide, and the news of it reaching Jitendra. So that's it for the recap and this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.